Now, there has been significant global attention on how businesses, how the capital markets are responding to what has been rightly termed as the defining crisis of our time, climate change. And of course, many of us would have seen the official announcement made in Glasgow as part of COP26 by the IFRS Foundation on the formation of the new International Sustainability Standards Board, IAASB, and the publication of the prototype climate and general disclosure requirements. Now, with the huge momentum happening at the reporting side, questions have been raised about the role of assurance in enhancing trust and credibility in the information. Would you like to take this opportunity to share what our board has done so far in the climate/sustainability space and the path forward as you envisage it?
I think the role of assurance is important in this space because that will give greater trust, as it does on the financial side, to reported information. One of the things to know is that the IAASB has a long history in this area. We have standards that address this form of assurance. ISA 3000, which is our umbrella framework standard. We have 3410, that's on greenhouse gas statements. And we just in March of this last year issued guidance on extended external reporting, which deals with the practical challenges of applying 3000 to these forms of engagement, the sustainability engagements, among others. So we have a core, which I think provides a really solid foundation for moving forward. It's not the end on this point, and we're prepared to act. The formation of the IAASB probably gives us a really good partner to work with going forward. So what we need to figure out is what we do next. And what I say to people that we're willing to act and evolve our existing corpus of standards. We're willing to partner with whatever stakeholder is the right one to provide the expertise to drive our standard setting forward. And we're willing to move quickly. And so, but I urge people to focus on starting from the assurance standpoint on our sets of standards that already are in place and in use throughout the world, and knowing that this is a place where we're going to have to move and very rapidly.
And Tom, I think that is, I'm sure, very reassuring for many of our stakeholders to hear as well.
Yeah, and as you know, we're going to say that we're about to publish our work plan, and we'll have a signal in that we're devoting both board time and resources to this effort.
Absolutely. So Tom, the future of audit remains a key agenda for many jurisdictions, with some, like the UK, already moving forward with proposals for reform of the audit profession and the financial reporting ecosystem more broadly. Now, two areas that often come up in those reform discussions relating to the work of auditors are fraud and going concern, which as we know, very much in the eyes of the public due to their linkage to corporate failures. So, Tom, would you like to share with the audience what our board, as the international standard setter, is doing currently in these areas?
So there are two of our highest priority topics on our work plan right now. And the goal is to have project proposals approved for fraud in December and in March of next year for going concern. What we've been doing is a very structured information gathering process where we've done roundtables, we've done full academic reviews, we've done root cause analysis of the corporate failures and to the extent that fraud was at the heart of any of that and what the implications are to standard setting. And we've done surveys and other outreach as a result. And I think that leads us to be very structured in scoping what the projects are. Now, fraud is significantly advanced relative to going concern. And we're trying to define what are the four big public interest objectives that this project should serve. And then what are the issues we're going to tackle as part of the standards going forward. That's all subject to board discussion, but the things that are top of my mind is what are the roles and responsibilities of an auditor in relation to fraud. Not that they're wrong, but can they be clarified and enhanced? I always laugh a little bit that a lot of the standard talks about inherent limitations, and I'd like to be much more positive about what the role and responsibility of an auditor is. That's not to dismiss the limitations at all, but I think to reduce the expectations gap, we should be able to clearly explain what's the positive role and obligations of an auditor and as it relates to fraud. All of the standards we described earlier are risk-based. We need to flow that system of risk-based assessment into the fraud standard. Thirdly, we need to consider the role of technology in relation to fraud, and then the issues of transparency and communication with those charged with governance and external stakeholders. So all of those are going to be part of the project proposal. We have a discussion, so we haven't landed on a conclusion, but our approach on both sides, both fraud and going concern, is to be ambitious in the approach and open-minded about the outcomes.
Thank you, Tom. It's all sounding really exciting and responsive to the expectation by the public. And I think this discussion around fraud and going concern segues really well to the expectation gap presentation that I know we're going to hear later on in regards to the ACCA follow-up work. So Tom, it's been a great pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for a great sharing. Any closing remarks that you have for our audience before we hand the session back to Mike?
Well, I have to say that I look forward to seeing you in person soon, and maybe next time seeing the audience in person. Enough of the virtual reality world. So I first of all, it's thanks to the ACCA and all the participants in this conference. It's really important to have engagement with you, and please feel free to share your views with the IAASB. But I just want to go back to what this is all about. As you know, I'm not an accountant or auditor, but I strongly believe in the role of the profession in making markets and the economy work. We've just issued a large amount of standards that are going to be implemented over the next few years. The profession has a real opportunity to show that it's on the side of the public interest and in favor of audit quality and assurance quality by its faithful implementation. Now, I'm an optimist, so I know you're going to rise to the task, and it won't be easy, but it's really important that you do. So thank you for all, Chun, that you do and the ACCA does and all the participants do. It's a truly noble and important and essential profession.
Thank you, Tom, and really appreciate that big emphasis on the public interest role that you underline. I think that's absolutely critical. So, Tom, enjoy what's remained of your time in London, and I too look forward to meeting you, the staff, and our fellow board members again in person during our December board meeting. So, thank you once again.
Thank you, Chun.